So signs that you're on the right path in your life and in your career. If I share a story about myself, it was quite hard for myself to strive for the things I wanted to do because I'm brown. I come from a certain culture where I can't just consider myself. I have to consider the people in my life, the people in my surrounding, people back home. Even though that wasn't so much so of my stress, it was more so the people around me. I had to live my life a certain way because I'm expected to live that certain way. You'll always be surrounded by the thought that I want to do this, but I won't be able to spend time, with a family member. I want to do this, but I've got to do this for a person in your life. I need to do this, but I need to, the most minuscule thing, go for a grocery run. All of those things are guilt that eat you alive because you've just not fulfilled that certain, task within your life because of the background you come from. And because of that, you will struggle to become the future self of yourself. If you have a passion or you want to strive for something, follow it along, and regardless of how it comes across, obviously don't hurt people along the way. No matter how selfish you have to be, I'll genuinely tell you to just follow it along and just go for it. Because if you don't do that and you keep following the people in your family, or they're telling you to do a certain thing, if you just keep following through with what they're saying, you'll down the line you will start resenting them. Because I'm an active thinker, I sound off. It sounds dumb. I'm sure many people can relate to it, but a sound of a family member just coming down the stairs, or someone in the kitchen, or someone just drinking water, or someone just putting on the telly. All of those things distract my mind, distract the thoughts in my mind. I know it may sound silly to some people, but that's what it did to me. But that's exactly where I started from. I started from working from my desk at home, and then I used to do cafe hopping. And that's literally where I started my business from. And the little amount of money that I made, like, alhamdulillah, I show gratitude towards any amount that I make. But when I started making money, the first thing that I did was invest in my surrounding. If you look at the place where I'm sat right now, this is an office space which I invested in. And to me, it's the best investment I've ever made. Look how quiet it is. It is so quiet. Like, I've literally got a journal where I write down my thoughts, my ideas. All of these things have valuable things. Like, this is how I operate my business, and all of it requires thinking. And that's the exact thing this investment allowed me to do, was to create a certain surrounding for myself that my future self needs. This is what I had to do. And when I look at the retrospective of when I was at home working for straight 1 year, 2 year, I was still in the same position. And when I actually sat down and deeped this, I thought to myself, like, to get to a certain place, you need to change your surrounding. Yeah? A brown person like myself, there's very few people who invest in an office space. There are only a few people who invest in their surrounding. There are people in my friend circle who, they have the money, they'll invest in a car. They have the money, they'll go down to a shisha bar. They have the money, they'll go down to eat a burger. They have the money, they'll just stay in the same vicinity. But I know quite a lot of them hold goals in their mind where they have to diminish that part of themselves and adapt to new things to be a certain, to be off that thing that they want to achieve. Their ambitions don't really align with their current lives and their day-to-day activities. They don't. And I can see that. And the reason I can see that is because I've made the changes in my life. Whilst I was working at home, I couldn't really get that productive. But since I got this office space, I would say my productivity has times 100. My personal brand is shaping up amazingly. The sort of surrounding I've always wanted. And I don't take this for granted. I don't. I love that I can just hop out of the house, and I come to this office space and I can do this work. I can lock in. I can reply to my prospects. I can have meetings with my prospects. And the only reason I can do that is because I invested in myself. If we go before investing in an office space. I invested money in a mentorship, and that solidified my business. That solidified what I should be pursuing. That was the first investment that I made. It was a big amount, but where I'm sat right now is the result of that. I couldn't be happier. You know that investment is one thing, but putting in the work is on yourself. And that's exactly what my mentor said. And literally the timeline he gave me where I would make a certain amount, that happened. That happened because I put the work in. There were other people in the community as well which spent the money towards the mentorship and they didn't get the results. Because again, with being ambitious, you have to be willing to put the work in. And that's the exact person that I am, and that's the exact result that came my way. Another sign that you're doing well is you are bound to lose people in your life. That's an unwritten rule, and that's not something that I was aware of before. I just learned that through the process, because it's a sign of you being insanely ambitious, and people that stay in your life may keep them closer. You have to be guilt-free. You shouldn't hold onto that guilt of, shit man, if I didn't pursue this, I'll have certain people in my life. No, because again, you'll start resenting yourself and resenting them. That's not fair. And when I say that, I don't mean like purposely lose people in your life. I'm not saying neglect your family members. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is be selfishly guilt-free of your ambitions. Because you working towards your goal is not just impacting you. If you're an entrepreneur, you will know that you're making money for the people around you as well. Your ability to chase entrepreneurship, to make something of it, to make money, is not just allowing you to make money for the material needs, it's allowing you to make money for your loved ones, for you to look after them, for you to afford that medical bill, for you to create a certain environment for your future family. These things are the byproduct of your selfishly working towards the things that you want to work towards. You're doing this because you care about them. You're doing this because you have an inner calling that you are supposed to do this. That's a sign from the high power, from God, to give you a sign that you are meant to do this. You are meant to change the trajectory of your life. You are meant to change the trajectory of your family's life. This is for you to do. It's a task that has been given to you. And pressure is such a big blessing, because there are people out there that are living their life guilt-free, with no pressure. And it's quite visible that they're living their life very reckless because they don't have any pressure. People that have pressure, they have responsibility. People that have responsibility live their life very aligned. And it shows. It shows in their character. It shows the way they carry themselves. And those are the things that you have to adapt in order to be worthy of the ambition you're going after. If you resonate with this, that's good, because you are selfishly going for the things that you want to go for. You're a high ambitious person, and don't change that for anyone.